Alright guys, we're going to get this paper out that we were working on yesterday. This is the back side. And if you go down all the way to the bottom, you'll see that there's a section over practice problems. I'm going to go over some of these with you. If you've done them, great. We're going to check your answers. If you have not worked on these, then this should just be a refresher before your next assignment that you're going to get here in a little bit. So the first three triangles, we're supposed to find the missing side length of each right triangle. So we're told that it's a right triangle. So that means that there's a 90-degree angle in the triangle. If necessary, round to the nearest hundredth. Hundredth means that we need 2 decimal places after the decimal. But we'll just practice doing 1 decimal place for right now. So looking at my first triangle, I need to identify what is the actual 90-degree angle. So I'm going to look at my triangle and I'm going to say that this is my 90-degree angle. I'm going to represent that with a little square in the bottom left. So by identifying that, that tells me that this side and this side are my legs. So I need to know that these are my A and B numbers. If I don't know that and I set the equation up wrong, then I'm going to get the answer wrong. So this is my hypotenuse. This is the side that is opposite of my right angle. And that's what I'm going to be trying to figure out. So I'm going to set up my formula. So I remember that my formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So knowing this, I'm just going to be plugging in my values. So a is 8. So I have 8 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. So I'm going to go ahead and do the math. I'm going to try to simplify this down. So I have 8 squared, which is 64. I have 12 squared, which is 144. And I'm going to add those two numbers together. And this is still going to equal c squared. So I'm going to add my two numbers together. So 64 plus 144. Remember that you can use a calculator. That is fine. So 208 equals c squared. When I get to this point, I'm not all the way done because my c should not have an exponent on it. In order to get rid of that exponent, I have to take the square root of 208. So I'm going to type that into my calculator and figure out what the square root of 208 would be. And that is going to equal about, I'm going to do a little squiggly line here, that's approximately 14.4. So I'm going to put c equals 14.4. All right, let's look at the next one. Again, if you want to show your work on a different sheet of paper, you can. I write big. All right, so on this one, I'm looking at my angles. I'm trying to find which one would be the 90-degree angle. So my 90-degree angle is going to be up here. So that tells me that my 2 leg pieces are this 5 and then whatever this missing piece is. So that also tells me that my C is 15 because it is opposite of my right angle. So I'm going to have 5 squared plus x squared. Because I don't know what this side is. I guess I could put a b here. Let's put a b. So 5 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared. Once I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and simplify down. So 5 squared is 25. I still have my plus b squared. And then 15 squared is 225. So at this point, I need to get b squared all by itself. So I have to get rid of my 25. In order to get rid of it, I'm going to have to subtract my 25. So b squared equals 200. I'm going to square root these. So my answer should be about 14.1. And then my next one, here's my right angle. I would have 9 squared plus b squared equals 11 squared. I'm going to go ahead and simplify this down. So I have 81 plus b squared equals 121. To get b squared by itself, I'm going to subtract 81 from both sides. So b squared would equal 40. And I'm going to take the square root of 40 to get rid of that exponent. So b should equal about 6.3. Again, pause the video, look at it again if you need to. So this is what we were practicing yesterday with that Edulastic assignment. So we have to figure out the two small sides squared has to equal the third side squared. If I type this all in my calculator, 500 does not equal 900. So this is a no. Again, my two small sides squared has to equal my long side squared. If I type this left-hand side into the calculator, I would get 225. And then 15 squared is also 225. So this would make a yes. Next one, I would have 10 squared plus 24 squared equals 26 squared. So this is going to equal 676 for both sides of the equal sign. So this is a yes. And then my last one, I would have 4 squared plus 15 squared equals 17 squared. This left-hand side would equal 241. This right-hand side would equal 289. And those do not equal, so no, it is not a right triangle. And then the last one. So instead of giving me the actual triangle with the measurements, they just give me the plain old measurements that I'm able to write into my formula. So I would have 27 squared plus b squared equals 45 squared. Well, 27 squared is 729. I still have my plus b squared. And then 45 squared is 2025, which is really hard to see, I'm sorry. All right, to get b all by itself, I'm going to have to subtract my 729 from both sides. I'm going to have b squared equals, and then once I subtract these, this is going to be 1,296. And then I'm going to square root that 1,296, and that is going to equal 36. So my answer for B would be 36 yards.